Hello humans, welcome back to my astrology YouTube channel. It has been quite a long time, I apologize. We are talking about Jupiter and Leo through the evolutionary and predictive lens that I use through my astrology practice. So the first half of this lecture, we're going to talk about what Jupiter and Leo could feel like, how to show up psychologically, emotionally, and what is the evolutionary intention of this year transit that we're beginning at the end of June. And then I'm going to guide you through the 12 houses so you can see how it might show up and what themes are going to be alive for you, for your own self, for your clients, your family, friends, what have you, right? So a little bit of two parts. The only ask I have is that you have patience. I go deep on my YouTube videos because just evolutionary astrology has to go deep. It just has to. I do have social media and I post a lot of educational content on there, but there's only so much you can put in a video in 3 to 10 minutes. So evolutionary astrology is not meant for that. That's more for like social media exposure. YouTube platforms are here for teaching. That's the way I'm looking at it. So I ask that you have patience, you have an open mind as well, given this is Jupiter topics. So it has to do with your belief systems and your perception. And I think once you're in this transmission of this video, that's going to start to activate for you. And you'll know what I mean as we go along. The only announcements I really have is one, I am open for astrology readings, so you can find it at embodiedbymak.com. I have offerings for evolutionary astrology readings right now, really deep dive into your chart, your soul purpose, what's going on, removing blockages, personal blockages, and then I also have year ahead forecast readings. You can book it at any time, doesn't have to be around your solar return chart, but year ahead, and we can plan things out, plan out your life, decisions, business moves, actual moves, relationships, whatever. So you can check that out on my website. And I also have coaching packages. If you want to learn astrology one-on-one with me, you get more direct access to me, daily messaging Monday through Friday, while we are also working through the layers of astrology. And you can see that all through my website. And I also have a new podcast that's out with my friend Sarah France. It's called The Voices of Delphi. You can find that on Spotify or YouTube. We only have 4 episodes out right now. We're very new, but it's an astrology and spirituality podcast. If you're interested in listening to that, she's a Hellenistic astrologer. I'm an evolutionary astrologer. We have a nice blend of balancing out the two. So with that being said, let's go into the slides and get ready for this awesome and interesting transit that's coming up for all of us. Yeah, so as you can see, this transit will begin June 30th, 2026. And will move until July 25th, 2027. Jupiter will go retrograde during this year cycle at one point. I don't have those dates written down because it's not important in my mind for you to worry about that right now. We're going to talk about the overarching big theme of Jupiter in Leo, okay? This cycle happens once every 12 years. It takes Jupiter approximately 12 years to go around the zodiac. If you have Jupiter natally in Leo in your chart, then you are having a Jupiter return. This gives an extra emphasis on you. And if you're thinking, well, what if I have Jupiter retrograde in my chart? We will talk about that a little bit. But essentially, if Jupiter is retrograde in your chart, then there is an extra emphasis for you to push on societal conditioned belief patterns that you grew up in. Okay, so if you have Jupiter retrograde in your chart or it's moved retrograde by progression, There comes a moment when your perspective of your beliefs that are the guiding principles of your life and the rules of your life that you live by, they start to shift and change, and it becomes more internalized. So you might push back, right? You might not align with the regulations and the rules and the beliefs that you grew up in, or say you grew up in some, religious structure. For instance, you had religious parents, and you conformed and you abided by that structure your whole life, and at one point your progress chart, Jupiter goes retrograde. You might have a completely different perspective at that point. You might leave the church, right? Leave the community that you were involved in with that. So that's just a little note on the side there. So when Jupiter is in Leo, it is going to naturally form this aspects, which is known as the squares and the opposition to the signs in the fixed cross. We will have squares at one point to Chiron that will be new in Taurus for a part of this transit. And we will also have eclipses that will be activating this Leo Aquarius axis. So naturally we will overly emphasize the opposition with Aquarius and Leo, because the nodes will be going through Aquarius and Leo during this next year. And we also have a Venus star point at the end of 2026 and a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio at the end of 2026. And we will experience these squares to Scorpio as well. So I needed to highlight, whether you have planets in Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, or Leo, it does not matter. At one point or another, these squares and oppositions will be triggered in your natal chart. So they will be triggered in your life. And these themes between these four archetypes will begin to come up. And you'll feel them and you'll see them, okay? It's not something to fear. Squares are often a moment of crisis and challenge, and we have to figure out how to solve a problem that comes up. That is simply the easiest way I can put it. It is a friction point, it is a challenge, and we have to solve the issue that is being presented. Whereas in opposition, the Aquarius to the Leo, it is always going to, an opposition is always going to have somebody else involved in that transit, okay? It is a relational type of planetary aspect. So it means you and another person, or you and a situation, and that relationship between that will be activated with those oppositions. That's going to be a big, big theme in this Jupiter transit that we are getting here. So Taurus to Leo, well, we'll get into this. I just want to accentuate that when you are using astrology, if you're a practicing astrologer, keep remembering that it's not just Jupiter and Leo. It pulls in other aspects of the chart at all times, okay? The Leo squares to Taurus and Scorpio, these are frictions that force growth, all right? Evolutionary growth. On the Taurus side, Taurus wants self-preservation. And so there can be a fear that comes up with this Jupiter and Leo. If I expose myself, is this going to threaten my personal ability to preserve who I am, to preserve how I'm seen, to preserve how I'm received, okay? Leo square to Scorpio is this fear of the exposure, because when we deal with Scorpio dynamics, we are often dealing with feeling like we're gonna die, right? It is a transformational archetype. It does involve usually the metaphorical death of something coming to an end, or at least we have to confront our deepest insecurities and our fears around a situation when we're dealing with Scorpio dynamics. The Leo opposition to Aquarius, this is about the mirror, okay? Again, an opposition will always be a relational type of aspect. So you do want to think of it like how Libra acts, right? Libra is all about harmony and balance and trying to strive for harmony and balance and listening skills to another person. This is very much being activated this year, where it's going to involve people's creative sense of self wanting to be expressed and their belief systems being magnified and magnetized by that. And the mirror is everybody who is observing them. Okay, and we're going to break this down more. So if you're a little bit lost, just kind of chew on this right now. Okay, this is a preface to the complexity, and then we're going to trickle down and go deeper. So the fixed signs deal with, your personal will, your sense of inner security and stability, and this drama that plays out of becoming with yourself and the audience, or yourself and those who you are becoming for, all right, or wanting to be connected to or feel seen for. When we have Jupiter and Leo, we are taking this planet that ultimately governs our belief. And I know that sounds so basic, but when you really chew on how important your belief structure is, then you begin to broaden and widen your understanding of what Jupiter means in astrology. Your belief systems, your philosophical doctrines that you gain throughout the course of your life are built by your own personal experiences. And these are all Jupiter themes. These experiences curate this wisdom within yourself. And this wisdom is now this experiential knowledge that you can either teach others, or you don't have to teach, but simply you choose to believe in certain things, and then you abide your life according to those personal experiences and belief systems that you have adopted, right? You have a specific experience, a specific perception. You have seen things for yourself that is through your own personal lens that other people in your life have not seen. And so that's why, when you get with a group of friends, or you're away from your family for a while, and then you go back and visit your family, you've had all these different experiences and conversations and perceptions that you have been able to expand your intellectual horizons on. And these things are the fuel that really becomes the fuel for your life and the support for your life in the directions that you choose to go into. So we all have a Jupiter in our chart, and then we have a Jupiter that's transiting that is also feeding into the landscape of our belief systems that are our guiding light or our guiding principle. So when Jupiter enters Leo, this is now taking that structure and being colored by a sign that is really about discovering the conscious awareness of your creative personal power. Okay? Creative power. And seeing this love of creative self-expression, if you will, as a compass for your life. Okay, some humans are wired to believe in their own personal creativity and their own self-expression easier than others, right? We can say that. Some people have an easier time with confidence or knowing they have a destiny or a purpose compared to others. It's really dependent on the wiring and the complexities of your chart and your upbringing and, the layers involved, right? So Jupiter in Leo is going to magnify this in our lives. And of course, this can be for better or for worse. We will see certain people in the public eye, for instance, like Trump. He has a Leo rising. When Jupiter starts to hit his ascendant, he is already a very confident man who is robust in his specialness. Whether you like him or not, we can, I feel, attest to he feels like he is a very special human and that he has limitless potential at his power. When Jupiter moves into Leo and begins to aspect him, it will inflate, right? Because Jupiter expands something and it inflates something. But in our personal lives, and why you're here for this is probably to help with your own journey through this transit, is igniting this instinct to become something more, okay? To take a leap of faith, to add extra flavoring to your potential and invite and encourage more confidence into your specialness, right? Making this inner world of possibility more tangible for you, okay? The consciousness of Jupiter in Leo, if you can look at that, is saying, look at me. And it will amplify in all of us humans in different ways experiencing this longing to be seen and to hold onto attention. Okay. And I mean, quite frankly, it's okay. It's not, it sounds like it could be a little bit narcissistic or a little self-driven. And, in some ways it can be, for sure. But some of us also could really use that high vibe, confidence boosting, more, higher guidance living potential to boost our confidence, to boost how we feel about being seen or wanting to play out or live our special destiny, if you will. Okay? And Jupiter will magnify this. It will begin to draw in, evolutionary wise, energetically wise, beliefs around this. It will amplify the beliefs around this in our inner world and on the collective scale. So to be recognized is to have a sense of existence. And this is a core human developmental need. And why is this really powerful on a psychological level, right? When a planet is entering Leo, it wants to be recognized and seen. We also all have the sun in our name. We all have a sun sign. We all have a sun in our chart. That is, no matter what sign your sun is in, there is that underneath pinning, that underneath layer of wanting to be seen and recognized for how that sun is acting out. Okay? It is a core developmental need, and we do experience this as children. That's why the 5th house and the sun and Leo can be considered the joy, the child, the inner child, the playful child, okay? The inner child, the playful child wants to be recognized. It wants to be seen for what its true potential and capabilities are. So what can happen throughout this transit is sometimes zero recognition, okay? And that can make humans feel disjointed or disconnected. It's this feeling of exile, and that gets activated by the opposition to Aquarius. When the audience or the collective community or the groups of people do not see us for who we are, for what greatness we feel we are, what intelligence we feel we have, what talents we feel we have. We can feel disconnected from ourselves if we're exposing ourselves and putting ourselves out there and we're getting shut down, right? Or we're getting canceled, if you will. I don't believe anybody can actually get canceled, by the way. That's why I'm putting it in quotation marks. So this is a journey throughout this next year of this developmental state of becoming, of being seen for everyone, all right? It's an opportunity to bring yourself to the table. I'm not going to sugarcoat this and say that you will not have challenges and say, oh, well, I'm confident, Makayla, and I already have confidence and I'm good and this is easy stuff for me. There will be challenges because you're going to have a square from Chiron to Taurus. You're going to have a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio at the end of the year. You're going to have a Venus star point in Scorpio. You're going to have eclipses activating Aquarius and Leo, right? There will be challenges no matter how confident you are. So for the people who are not as confident and are hoping that this brings you a boost of confidence as well to fulfill your own personal needs, just know that even the most confident people out there will have some form of challenge throughout this transit that's coming up, okay? So what do we look at? Because there can be a grandiose, yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sometimes I make up my own words, but if you've been on my channel for a while, you know that. Just a part of Mercury square Saturn. And Mercury in Aries, I talk too fast. You can have this over-amplified ego, and some people might take it too far, and we will talk about what will happen with that, right? Because this is a part of the Jupiter story, okay? Jupiter isn't always benefic, and we'll talk about that breakdown. But the healthy expression of this, which is what we're of course aiming for in this evolutionary journey, is this real need to validate the pursuit of your own special destiny. Remember, Jupiter holds your beliefs. Leo holds the fact that you have a special purpose. Here you can have this beautiful blend that, hey, maybe you're delusional about something. Maybe you want to start a whole new career and you're hearing, oh, you can't do that. It's impossible. Da 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 da. You won't make any money. That's not a feasible thing, right? I've heard that so many times with astrology. And it's advice from people that have never tried it, first off, don't know astrology, second off, and haven't done the thing, right? So this is an example of validating the pursuit of your own special destiny. You do not need the opinions of others. You do not need the applause. And that's what we're going to get into, which would be Jupiter opposite Aquarius. If you are feeding your Jupiter transit in Leo because you need that validation from the outside, you need the Aquarius, you need the applause, you need the groups of communities to validate your purpose, that's when Jupiter in Leo is going to let you down. But if you're learning to pursue the beliefs and this inner validation, right? Second here, to encourage this growth of your purpose, to encourage this growth of your special destiny, to encourage this growth of your belief system, then there will be naysayers, but you will not be taken down. You will actually jump leaps and bounds because that's what Jupiter can do for you. This healthy expression throughout this year needs to be focused on encouraging yourself and your own inner confidence within, okay? This will become your own inner guidance, your own fuel, your own fire to your belly that will reinforce your life. It will bring you that confidence from an internal side, okay? Leo archetype will create in its healthy expression, because whatever it's creating, it understands that that special gift and purpose and destiny is for the people, is for the collective. But it's not for the applause, the healthy expression. It's not because they need to feel admired, to feel validated, to feel confident. It's because they already feel that validation and confidence within, and then they want to share it, what they know, share their knowledge, share their talent, share their expressions, share their creativity to help other people, to exchange with other people, to add value to other people, to warm other people, right? To boost and light up other people. So during the transit, healthy expression is staying mindful that other people will have their own truths and their own perception of the world and reality. And this is because, especially, Jupiter will be here in Leo, and it's going to oppose Aquarius. We're also going to have the North Node in Aquarius for this transit. We also have Uranus and Gemini here, okay? Which is sextile, right? There's aspects being made here and in opposition to Gemini. Over the next 7 years, there is a lot of energy going on where there's a lot of different perspectives being established at play. A lot of Uranian energy, a lot of chatter, a lot of opinions are being amplified, and it will be extra amplified when Jupiter moves into Leo. Naturally, it will form, Jupiter and Leo will form this opposition to the North Node in Aquarius. It's going to trigger off your beliefs, your perceptions of reality, and your confidence that you feel about that is going to trigger off, and you're going to share it with other people. And now when you share it with other people, it triggers off differences, indifferences. Other people have different opinions. There is a trine. The North Node will trine Gemini. The air axis in the astrology chart is all about communication and relationships. So naturally, this transit also kicks off the qualities of all of the air signs, even if there's no planets in Libra right now. All of the air signs, opinions, how those opinions relate to other people through the Libra, and the indifferences and the unique perspectives through Aquarius. Okay? So throughout this, how do I clear all the drama? Throughout this transit, you want to be mindful that other people have their own truths and their own perceptions of reality, okay? And that both can exist, but your conviction is your own path, and they also have the freedom to hold theirs. So, just to deepen on this, when we are expressing our Leo, we are already going to draw in the Aquarius axis, right? I kind of just touched on that. We're naturally going to want to share that. That can be in the high vibration where it's like, hey, I just want to share this because it's a gift to humanity, and I'm overpouring with joy and belief and confidence, and it's so much I cannot contain it for myself. It's so good. Let me share it with other people. Or it can be that lower vibrational side where it's like, I need to convince people of my beliefs and how I feel about this because I need them to validate me, right? Jupiter and Leo on the lower vibration will be people who try to convince you, or you convince them, to believe what you believe and not allow them to have an opinion. So Aquarius is asking, who is observing me? So the Leo Aquarius is this center of attention person opposite the observers. One of my best friends is a professional ballet dancer, and she's a Leo. I love to look at her as this relationship where she loved dance. It wasn't that she needed the stage to feed her validation. It's the fact that she knew when she did what she loved on stage, she could move the audience, Aquarius, with her belief of how she was feeling in that moment, how her expression was feeling in that moment, right? I do the same thing through my astrology work. I have a South Node in Leo in the 10th. Like, I am passionate about the work, and I funnel through my passion and my emotions to educate and to share with other people how I express this symbology. I share my knowledge and how I feel about things, not because I need applause, right? Because I love it. I don't get paid off YouTube right now. I just love it. I've always loved YouTube. Maybe one day that'd be nice. So the recognition needs a mirror. I pulled that up. I see myself because I am reflected back. This is a positive recognition, because I do like to tell my clients who have Leo placements, the applause is okay. You just need to know that you're asking yourself, what is the applause for, right? We don't want to project out, which I kind of named on the projection here, is trying to push your agenda and your beliefs on other people, or convince other people that they're wrong and yours is right, right? With the Jupiter and Leo, we can have like this extra emphasis on dogma that can come up, okay? No, my belief system's the only one, and it's the only one that matters, and and not allowing other people's perspectives to play out. So you want to balance the part of you that is purposeful and special with the part of you that is like everybody else. So at some point or another, you might be reminded that it's okay to bring yourself back down as well, and also be ordinary and be normal, okay? Not being different just for the sake of being different, If everybody likes pizza, then, and you like pizza too, but for some reason you're like, I don't want to eat what everybody else, it's okay. It's okay to still like the pizza and eat like everybody else, There's this humility that happens after you leave Leo and you come into Virgo, and you realize that you are just like ordinary and everybody else. And there's a simplicity and a humbling experience that can come up, okay? So yes, you have a special destiny. Yes, your special destiny is unique, but remember that everybody else also has a special destiny, and they are unique as well, right? And then that kind of levels the playing field down again. Oh, high, low, right? It's it's this playground. This square. So during this transit, it can feel like you might want to stay safe in yourself rather than taking the chance and the leap of faith on traveling beyond something that you're used to, okay? Because Jupiter is this traveler type of energy. It wants us to expand our horizons and go somewhere we haven't gone before. And I will tell you, which we'll get into it in the next slide, Jupiter does bring a loss. So there might be a loss of yourself throughout this transit that you have to confront, or a situation, or person, and a situation, an experience. through the EA lens, through the evolutionary lens, this tends to be more emotional and psychological within your psyche, okay? Taurus is going to know that there's a value in where something has been, okay? So I value this confidence, or I value my safety net, right? Or I value the audience I've built by playing it safe right now, right? Say you are somebody in social media and you've built up a big social media following, and you've done that by kind of being mediocre, right? Like exposing your gifts and placating on your talents and so forth. But now you're like, people don't really know how I feel, and I feel like I really want to step into my full potential, step into my full power now that Jupiter's in Leo. Well, the Taurus side is going to show you, well, the value is already in what you've been doing, but the vulnerability, which is the fork in the road, okay, the fork in the road between Leo to Taurus, Leo to Scorpio, the Scorpio is wanting you to transform that through confronting your fears. So for Leo, in order for it to really feel like it can express itself and step into its potential and confidence and opinions is very much a Leo trait. It could mean a death. It could mean a death of your ego, a death to some of the audience that you're building, Aquarius, right? But you want to ask yourself, what is the cost? Right? What is the cost? There might be a risk of rejection. There might be a risk of abandonment through this with Scorpio and Taurus to Leo. Okay? But when you truly do the Jupiter and Leo work, and you have this strong conviction about what your special purpose and destiny is and how you want to expose that, then you can create the patterns that are keeping you stuck. Remember, this is a fixed sign. We can stay way too long in fixed energy, and it doesn't let us evolve. And Jupiter is a risky planet. It wants you to take a risk. If you feel like it's risky but you want it, it's usually really good for your evolution. Okay? Because that freedom that Aquarius can promise from the opposition can feel so far away. It's the opposition. I feel like this could free myself up. I feel like I could be more free to express myself and expose myself. But you'll feel that fear coming in from the Taurus to Scorpio. It will threaten your sense of inner safety and security. But that is a false reality. It is built on something that was built before, and when Jupiter comes into Leo, the same pattern is not speaking the same words anymore. Okay? So I want you to reflect here. Where do you hide what is special in this fear of judgment or being unseen or being killed off or being exposed or being too vulnerable? Where are you hiding what's special? So natal Jupiter and transiting Jupiter, okay, this is a release aspect, all right? You do want to you want to focus on where is natal Jupiter in your chart, because transiting Jupiter is feeding into that natal storyline, right? If like you've got natal Jupiter in your third house, for instance, your natal Jupiter wants you to amplify your opinion, your thoughts, your perception of reality, your ideas, how you communicate your ideas, right? Wants to expand on that. So transiting Jupiter and Leo can give you more confidence to maybe say the things that you were afraid to say before. So you want to ask yourself, while this transit is going on, what do you believe? And what doesn't resonate anymore? What must die? Okay? Because with Jupiter transits, we have to let something go in order for us to move into the next step. We have to kind of leave something behind, right? Think of Jupiter. Think of the archetype of Sagittarius, which is the ruler of Jupiter. when you go on an expedition, when you do that archetype truly, Jupiter, Sagittarius, ninth house, right? You are setting off on a journey. You're going into new unknown territory, right? You're on adventure to new terrain. You're exposing, you're creating new horizons. You're taking a jet somewhere. You're taking a train somewhere. Going to a foreign country, right? Well, you got to leave where you came from behind in order to do that. It's the same thing as this transit going through your house, right? What are you leaving behind so that you can bring in higher optimism and a bigger self-confidence and belief that will be the fuel here to carry your life forward. So your natal Jupiter shows what you are inclined to believe. This could be optimism, opinions, faith, and hope, and the sense that the sky is the limit. So you want to also notice where you rationalize with yourself, okay? These stories that insist that you just can't be ordinary. Pay attention to those, because those are telling you a storyline. Just reflection here. So Jupiter also brings release, a loss, a letting go of maybe some of those stories, right? Maybe some of those beliefs, maybe some of those faiths, they have to be transmuted somehow. Maybe they don't fit the story of your life anymore. Think back 12 years ago, right? You're quite different. Your belief structures are probably a hell of a lot different than they were 12 years ago. So certain beliefs may die, certain ways of being may die, relationships that keep us small fall away. This is really important, okay? Because it's tough. Because if you don't have the right people believing in you that are telling you negative things that don't give you the confidence and self-value and self-worth and self-esteem that support your purpose, they're holding you back. They're weighing you down. Jupiter wants to lift you up. Okay? So come to Jupiter transits with a mature understanding of growth. Okay? It's very important that you're mature with this transit because you have to have the wisdom. I mean, Jupiter, Sagittarius, ninth house, it is not a baby, I'm going to put that in quotes, right? Sign. It takes a journey and it takes a voyage to get to these realizations for ourselves, to form these belief systems, you know. We have to find out why we believe the thing, and we've had to have painful and joyful experiences to have that. So come to understand that Jupiter is a mature planet. You know, we have to go through a lot to gain the wisdom involved here. So don't spiritually bypass, right? Don't ride the human wish for better while skipping what's actually required. Because with Jupiter, we can be like, oh, well, it'll just be good. But you're missing the whole point is that, you know, with any transit, Venus, Jupiter, these benefics that we call them. I love Hellenistic astrologers, but come on. Evolutionary astrology is real here. Come on. You know, we can't spiritually bypass. We have to know that we have to face our shadows and do the evolutionary work to actually get that opportunity or that money or that growth, right? So, risk, faith, and growth. Questions. This is the invitation that you can ask yourself while you're chewing on this, and then we go into the houses. Are you willing to risk for the better? Right? Remember I said Jupiter is about risk. Growth means learning to handle and meet difficulty. Right? Growth is a challenging thing. Getting outside of our shell, moving to a foreign country, starting a new business, growing a team, growing your income, growing up, growing pains, growing a child in your belly, right? It's difficult. These are things are difficult. So that's Jupiter, okay? Ask yourself, am I pessimistic or am I open-minded, right? Remember, we talked about allowing other people to have their opinions and beliefs, and keeping an open mind while also not downplaying your own personal confidence. Can you give yourself the benefit of the doubt? This is really important, right? Can you give yourself the benefit of the doubt that you didn't know enough yet? You didn't have enough experience, right? You needed to go through some life lesson to do this, to do that. And then also, can you give your benefit of the doubt that maybe you can do that big risky thing that will grant you perhaps a great life? This leads to letting go of the baggage so that you can see the opportunities around you. This is a part of that letting go thing, right? Do you believe that you really need that thing anymore? Do you believe that you can't leave the United States? I've been talking to so many people about them leaving the United States and getting out of here and retiring and so forth. And a lot of people don't believe that it's possible. They don't believe they can do it. They don't believe that they can earn an income. They don't believe that they can live a good life. They don't believe that it's safe, right? Let go of the baggage. Where did you learn that baggage? Ask yourself that. Where did you learn that? First off, who gave you that belief structure? Who gave you that brick on your self-confidence to do something that maybe you feel like you want to do? So have you been underestimating your own value and joy? Do you feel okay just being okay? If you do, that's okay. But Jupiter wants you to take a risk for the better, for your solar life, for your life force. It's in Leo, your life force, your vitality. There's an opportunity to reconnect the right brain and the gut, right? Trust the intuitive hits and seize the leap. Jupiter is a right brain planet. It's a creative, intelligent, intuitive planet. Okay. Yes, it is in an intellectual type of fire sign, ruled by an intellectual fire sign of Sagittarius. It's in Leo right now, which is, again, that sense of self, identity and creativity, and how we're funneling the personality through our life. But on a planetary aspect, Jupiter is more intuitive, more right brain, and it is connected to your solar plexus, your gut health. Trust your intuition. Play with it, okay? If your gut is reacting bad, if you're getting stomach aches and bloating and pains and twists and knots, that might be your physical response telling you this does not align anymore. This does not bring you value. This does not bring you joy. This is not meant for you, okay? And if you feel a good gut response and you feel, you're feeling good and your gut health is good and, and you're getting that I must take this leap, I must try that. That's saying seize the leap, right? And remember that if people or situations are leaving, things only stay together as long as they benefit both parties. This can be true for many transits that I can talk about through evolutionary lens, but especially because there's a letting go and a loss with Jupiter. When we have to let go of a group, a community, which will be a highlight because it's Jupiter and Leo, remember, opposite Aquarius. We might have to let go of dreams and hopes and wishes and alliances and friendship groups and communities during this transit because it doesn't benefit one or both parties anymore. And it's okay to allow that to be, okay? So we're going to go through part 2 of the houses now. We're going to go on a quick deep dive, like quick one, not too deep, because I really want, if you want to do actual work with this, book an astrology reading, okay? Because so many other things are important to look at. What is in that house? Is there any aspects in the house, what else is going on in your chart? Where's your progressed moon? What transits are happening to you in other places? Where's your sun in your chart? So many other things play, okay? But these are general themes. If Jupiter in Leo is moving through your first house, this is identity and your risk style. Okay? This is about independence and going your own way and seizing new opportunities to go your own way. It could be conflict with other people in your relationships in your life, but I tend to find when Jupiter crosses the ascendant and affects the first house, your whole entire life gets a renewal or a change of pace, because it is activating the 4 pillars, if you will, right? Your sense of self, your home, your foundation, your family, your relationships, and your career. So you can expect, if it's going through your first house, this is a big identity shift and a lot of risk taking. Maybe it's an internal risk, or maybe it's external risks, okay? You can have a renewal and a restored sense of faith in yourself, and a renewal and restored sense of confidence, okay? Be joyful, pursue who you want to be and what you want to do. It's very important. If it's going through your second house, this is about your self-worth on a core level, okay? We want to know, do you believe you are living according to your own beliefs and values? And Jupiter in the second house in Leo is going to give you the confidence to do that finally, if you're not doing it. And if you already are, you might risk things to create a better way of living, a better sense of value, even increase your income. You can also lose a lot of income with Jupiter in the second house, so you want to pay attention to how is that ego playing out. Are you doing it for your sense of self, or are you doing it for validation? Okay. Risk living by what generally matters to you. Faith that what matters to you matters. Oh, should have. Right. Have faith that what matters to you matters. Like, keep the faith, right? Keep the values strong. You might be confronted, right, with the squares going on. You might have challenges and risks here, and you might need to double down on that confidence within yourself. Release the things that only appear to give you confidence. That'll be a big one. That'll be a lot of inner work. The third house, this is about your mind and your learning, all right, through that confidence level here, and also having the confidence to have that voice and to speak up. Education, learning, and having an open mind to new data and ideas, very important. You might even start learning a new course, working under a teacher, or start teaching yourself, right? Writing, blogging, and exploring your interests fall under this. You might decide that you want to amplify on something that you believe in, something very passionately about, and you finally want to share that. You can get busier with your local travel, so you can have more movement and curiosity. This could also be an international trip, because it is Jupiter through your third house. Be mindful to ask questions and have an open-mindedness to fuel the growth of this transit for you. If it's going through your fourth house, this is about your home and inner reality, okay? Family matters do surface. You might get a bigger home. You might have people moving in and out of your home. You might be moving to a foreign country as well. This is more about going within, though, and finding this inner faith and joy in who you are as a person. Remember, the fourth house is very much your sense of self on an internal landscape. It's really important. So this is a great way to expand on your personal identity, right? And feed the soul confidence for the next couple of years of your life, right? Your emotional needs matter. Don't play down on those, and trust and have faith in them. If this is going through your fifth house, this is about sharing your creative joy. Leo fifth house, it's the ruler of its natural fifth house. This is a great time for you to share your creative expression and your personal opinions. You might get seen more if you're looking to get seen and looking to expand on your self-expression. Then take the risks. This can be more joy and play. You could bring children in. You could just be involved with more hobbies. You probably want to Be careful with the partying, I guess I could say, right? But just extra doubling down on your unique way of being matters and building on your personal self-expression and self-confidence during this time. But it's pretty, it could be fearful. It could be a fearful, I want to say it's a pretty good transit to have, but I'm not going to say it wouldn't come without its challenges, because again, you can deal with all of the things that we talked to you about by, the opposition to Aquarius, and maybe not getting seen for who you truly are, and dealing with the false sense of ego and having to let something die, which could be probably pretty painful for a Leo 5th house journey. The 6th house is all about your health and refinement here. You want to be a lot of attention to how you're curating and taking care of your body, the foods that you're eating, the choices that you're making on a daily scale, because Jupiter can amplify it for better or for worse. Okay. So improvement, coherence, and healing, big ones. Be mindful of that. Rethink whether daily routines serve you or they're not. Let go of these outworn belief systems and routines and upgrade them, right? Jupiter can help you upgrade them, get you more confidence in your health and your wellness. So listen to the intuitive body. The 6th house is a very intuitive house. The right brain's natural instincts will be amplified, okay? Situation that's coming to mind is like maybe you don't align with your doctor's beliefs anymore, and it's very hard for you to leave because maybe you're dealing with something and you have to make a choice, right? Listen to your intuitive body, find the right healing modalities that they're working for you. The 7th house is your relationships and your mirrors. So you want to give relationships a real chance here and release what doesn't support growth. Okay. Remember, we can have debate can come up, right? So debate can get inflated, or disagreements, right, can get inflated with Jupiter in the 7th. Of course, it could be more joyous and optimistic, but you have to remember and keep in check that other people are allowed to have their opinions. Okay, so you're going to be attracting people who are very opinionated this year. I believe it's Aquarius rising. So let others reflect you back, and stay open to what they're teaching you. Okay. It'll be interesting for Aquarius rising. So do your beliefs match your actual experience of people also, right? There might be a letting go and a loss of some people in your life, but also there'll be opportunities for new ones to fill that place. So offer others the benefit of the doubt. The 8th house, is being open to intimacy and depth. Okay. This is opening you up to this deeper psychological material that you're going through in your life at this point, and deepening intimacy as trust grows, right? Allowing things to surface that are potentially holding you back, not feeling like you have a sense of ego tied to something that makes you feel vulnerable or unsafe or insecure, but really getting really raw and deep with the openness of that, and maybe changing your belief systems about your insecurities and doubts that could be coming up, right? Transforming those belief systems of those fears that could potentially be really hindering you from really stepping into your personal growth. So I actually really like this transit for people who are getting Jupiter and Leo in the 8th. New and more trustworthy partners and connections can come in, and they will challenge these dynamics when you're ready for the test. So just risk opening up, risk the truth where trust barriers live. Huge work for this transit, but could be exceptionally impactful in a positive way. The 9th house is truth and horizons. Okay, so new opportunities far from home, travel calls, lucky you guys. And that can be a new teacher that you meet, a new teaching that you meet as well. You could get this total philosophical, educational, religious, what have you, download, teaching that comes across your path and totally rocks your world. And you're like, I never looked at life that before. And it completely changes the life of your horizon, the horizon of your life. Sorry. My dyslexia is coming in because I'm getting tired. There's new ways of believing and seeing the world. That is fantastic as well. So this is about having a big picture and holding a higher truth. Keep in mind that you're going to come in conflict with other people who are going to challenge yours. Okay. You still will have those challenges, still have those squares. Okay. But this is letting go of old frameworks of belief. This can really level you up into your next teaching level, higher thought, higher consciousness level, state of awareness. Beautiful time for you to just kind of develop a higher version of yourself, if you will. The 10th house is your vocation and ambition. Ambition, so who do you want to be in the world? You might just not align with what you're doing anymore, and you might leave your job, honestly. I'm finishing up this one. And you will have to develop this new confidence to risk your own advancements. I do just see genuinely a lot of people with Jupiter in the 10th house just do not align with their work anymore. And so they're willing to take a chance, a risk on their career, their life purpose, their life direction, and how other people are perceiving them in the world. Again, this is once in every 12 years. There will be challenges and conflict that arises from this, right? But this is a bigger, and it's more public, focus on your public sphere and how you engage with the outer world, and questioning your belief systems on your vocation, and questioning your belief systems on your ambition and the work that you choose to want to do and the responsibilities that you want to have. You might choose to throw off a lot of responsibilities under this transit and decide you don't want to do them anymore, or like, what is the purpose for it? The 11th house is all about your community and vision. This is a good opportunity for you to ask yourself truly, what kind of world do I want to live in? And it can be just connected to your own personal sense of destiny and self, okay? And how you want to create that. What kind of community do you actually want to live in and be amongst and co-creating with other people? This is a co-creating kind of house, the 11th, right? So you expand with others under this, to expand with others to create what you value, okay? Your visions and your goals, your long-term visions and goals are highlighted under this year. Okay, so you can very much meet better, right people, networks that are going to carry your vision and goals a lot closer to who you truly feel you are on your sense of self, right? So you might have to let go of old goals and set new ones, okay? But there can be a renewed, refreshed optimism around society and groups of people in the collective. And the 12th house is all about surrender and spirit, okay? More of a less public sphere for you peoples, and a time to go within, absolutely immediately. So surrender here, there can be a lot of letting go, extra emphasis on that, and it can feel huge and really big. But think about this, right? Once in every 12 years, next year it's going to cross your ascendant. It's going to rebirth itself in a new way. So there's an extra emphasis for you to spiritually and egotistically, because it's Leo, clean yourself out, okay? Clean yourself out. And being empty is not a bad thing, right? There's being empty like meaninglessness and lifeless and depressed. And there's being empty because you just released a lot of stuff and you're kind of, your vessel's being cleansed, right? So you can have this full cup come in when Jupiter crosses the ascendant, right? So especially for people, Jupiter transiting the 12th in Leo right now, listen to Jupiter in the first, because that's what you're prepping for. That's what you're prepping for this year, right? So surrender, be open to new energy fields and spiritual experiences that can very much be magnified. You can develop bigger intuitive skills great for that, doubling down on that. Altered states in service of higher truth, and seeing with clarity the habits that need releasing. Oh, so much clarity can come through the 12th house because we're looking at our unconscious dynamics, right, that are residing within us. You can have more connection to nature. I highly encourage that, and confronting the resistance to just trust in life, right? Because we have to surrender in the 12th, and we have to just kind of let go and trust things that are going to be okay, and like life is going to support us. The universe, spirit, God, Allah, whatever you're using is going to support us, right? So surrender to this chance to redevelop your own personal confidence with your faith. We'll stop the share here. So that wraps it up. I think that's good for today. My throat is getting dry, so I know that's like when I'm coming to the end. Let me know what you think. Let me know where Jupiter is going to be entering Leo for you. And also, I invite you, my invitation to book a reading with me at embodiedbymak.com for an evolutionary or year ahead reading, or one-on-one astrology coaching, whatever you prefer. And if you haven't found me on social media, I'm pretty active there. I got a bunch of like little videos I've been putting out lately, and you've probably seen a little bit of hints here and there on. Once I move to Thailand, I will have a lot more free time to dedicate to longer YouTube content, which is my favorite to make, because astrology is just too deep to be broken down into 3-minute videos. It kills me. But with that being said, everybody, I hope that helped you, and I wish you a lovely weekend. It's Friday, June 19th, so we've got a little over a week and a half until we enter this new phase of our evolutionary journey together. And have a great one. I'll talk to you soon. Oh, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This really helps my channel grow, and I would appreciate the support. So thank you so much.